Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful, fantabulous, and mystical day. My name is Emmanuel Aguilar, aka Mystic Fox 4. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm an illustrator and character designer. You can go ahead and follow my social medias down below or see my portfolio on ArtStation under Emmanuel Aguilar. Now, on today's episode, I wanted to feature a couple of artists that I have taken personal inspiration from or that I have actually learned a lot from. Now, some of these artists kind of range in different types of styles, from realism, semi-realism, and all the way to stylization. I personally really enjoy stylization, but I can admire all things, and I have learned from all different aspects of artwork. So, without further ado, let's get started. So the first one on this episode is going to be Ahmed Aldoori. To those of you who know me on a more personal level, you'll know that I actually have been following Ahmed Aldoori for quite a while. I've actually taken some classes with him on CGMA, and I've tried to take classes with him at Brainstorm, but unfortunately he had left by that point. But I have learned a lot from the guy. I do think that there's a lot to learn from the things that he's been teaching and kind of just doing in his artwork. I think he's been doing a fantastic job of just making artwork. And he helps a lot with like interpersonal things and things that I've struggled in the past. So I do think it's worth mentioning here. If you guys are looking to learn how to do artwork or how to do concept art and things like that, you can go ahead onto Ahmed Aldoori's profile. He has a full course recently that was just released within the past couple of weeks that you can go ahead and purchase, and it's basically the crash course on how to do artwork, or how to better your skills in artwork, I should say, rather. So go ahead and check that out. He's also, as you can see here, he's having a flash sale on Gumroad on his tutorials that you can check out, 50% off. But this is probably one of my favorite pieces that he's made. He has a full time lapse of this available online on his Gumroad. And it's just, he pulls from reference and he uses that reference, but he also, diverges and does other things with it. But I think it's really interesting on how his work and his process is. And some of the things that I've actually learned from Ahmed is just kind of trusting the process and just doing the thing, right? Oftentimes, we'll start off and we'll start doing a piece, and we'll be like 20 minutes in and we're just like, this is not really looking all that hot. But if you just trust the process and you follow it through, sure enough, the process will yield results, right? It's called a process for a reason, because it has steps and phases, and sometimes those phases are not favorable. So if you're willing to take the time and check out his profile, you can go ahead and do so. Moving on to the next person. All right. So this is probably one of my favorite illustrators for just raw, evoking that feeling and evoking a sense of just emotion in general, right? It's going to be Toni Infante, I believe it's called. His name is. He is an illustrator. This is going to be a Conan Barbarian cover that he made. It's I believe, a variant cover. Oh yeah, it's a variant cover here. And it's just really, really nice. It feels very powerful. He's very a barbaric, and it's very in your face. He just finished demolishing this whole group of soldiers, and it's just it's not rendered, right, at a high render. It's the overall feeling of the piece just screams that emotion of rage, and I think that that's one thing that I'm starting to learn from this artist, right? I'm not quite there yet with getting to that level of it, right? And this isn't also to say his artwork is not polished. I think it's very polished, but he does certain things, I feel, not necessarily because it's a technique thing, but rather because it feels right. And that's something that I'm slowly starting to get to understand when I see this person's artwork, and when I look at my own artwork, right, is that feeling aspect of it, where sometimes you have to diverge from the fundamentals, not because I don't like this or whatever, or I don't want to use the fundamentals, but rather because it doesn't evoke the same feeling, right? Sometimes it's just breaking a character's arm it's not so much like, yeah, it's like, correct, but it feels right and it helps the piece, so you do it, right? And that's some of the things that I've noticed in his work, right? Where it's like sometimes maybe the render is a little bit more like messier, like like here on this part here and there, but because it's so zoomed out, you don't even notice it, right? You just get the overall feeling of it, right? And that's a very powerful thing to have in artwork, and I think it's very commendable. And that's one of the things that I've learned with looking at his artwork and kind of studying him, is just the sheer ability to just feel something when something is right or wrong, and just kind of express that, right? And adjust things to make it feel right. Now he does do a lot of compositional stuff, kind of like of what I spoke with about in the last episode of All Art No Breaks, but he does it in a weird way where it's like he places things, right? Like he strategizes where he puts them, or at least I imagine so from watching some of his videos on YouTube, which you can definitely check out. He probably has it linked right here in this description, so you can go ahead and click on his profile if you like. But he does like sketch phase, and then he does a little bit of line work, and then he does flats of colors, and then he does line work on top of the old line work, like cleaning it up a lot more, and then he just goes in and starts doing shapes with colors, and then he polishes and does effects and stuff, and I think it's gorgeous, right? And I think it because of that fundamental of like evoking a feeling, because I feel like as an artist, like that's your job, right? It's not doing this high polish blah blah blah, it's evoking a feeling, right? And this is probably a little bit controversial, but I do think that when you evoke a feeling in something, it doesn't truly matter what the artwork looks like, it's just what it makes people feel, right? You play a game because a character's artwork makes you feel a certain way, right? You see an environment and it makes you feel a certain way. Everything is based around emotions, because we're very emotional creatures. And so because of that, I really like this guy's work. I also think it's very high polished, not, I know earlier I was kind of saying it's not as high polished as other things, but it's different from the other things that I've kind of showcased on this YouTube channel. And I think that it's important to, distinguish or showcase it and explain why I think it's different and why I feel this way. Still incredibly polished, really good work. If you'd like to check out Toni Infante work, you can go ahead and click on the description down below. And now we move on to the next one. So this is probably one of my all-time favorite artists, right? It was really hard to narrow down like a bunch of artists, right? I had like 8 different artists on the list for this video, and I was going through all of them, and I was like, okay, I have to pick 3 because I'll just ramble on forever. And Max Greck came up, and I was immediately like, okay, I'm pushing him through, right? Reason being is I really like his shape design. I like the way his process is. It's very quick, like easy to the point, and there's a lot of room for like just experimentation and doing different things and all of that. And he gets across that emotional aspect to it as well. But I think it's because of the way that he renders and the way that he thinks about rendering. It looks crispier, and it just has that like toony feel, right? And I like that, or like toony, like stylized real or feel. I mean, I think his pieces overall have that like toony feel. Sometimes he'll do like this line art type thing, but other times he'll do like fully polished illustration work, and I think that that's really cool too. But he just touches upon so many different things that like effects, and gosh, like the guy's really skilled, and I've learned a lot of different things from him. But one of the main things that I've learned from him is, like I said, his process, right? So what I learned from him was doing value artwork and then transitioning that value into color. Now this is something that's really, a little bit difficult. You would have to check out his Gumroad insert plug. and get that tutorial and figure it out. He also has a free one available online under, I believe it's The Grind. It's a YouTube channel. But if you look up Max Greck and interviews, you'll find it, I'm sure. But he does a little drawing of a orc, and he kind of explains the process of coloring the skin tone and doing all of that, which is a really good opportunity for those who, are looking for a different way to do artwork, and you want to have your values correct or whatever, and you want to do it that way, you can. It's a viable method, and he can explain how to do that. I have had a couple videos on my YouTube channel trying to showcase the process, but I think it's always good to show the main source of where you get your information, just because sometimes things go over people's heads, and it's always better to hear from the main source. And like I said, I learned a lot from Max in that aspect of just kind of figuring out how to do that black and white to color. I've also kind of learned through his community. He has a Discord, and I've learned through his community, just being cool with people, just talking with people and making friends, right? It's something that sometimes we neglect as artists, and because we kind of focus on our work. But I do think it's something that's pretty cool. It's just people sharing their interests and being cool. So if you want to check that out, definitely go check that out as well. I believe it's called the Bat Rat Discord, but you can also just follow his socials, and you'll probably find the link for that. But link to his profile in the description below. If you like the video, make sure you smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button. It's in the bottom right hand corner. I recently just had that inserted into the videos. If you like the video, comment down below which artists you think you didn't know about, or maybe you thought you could check out their profile, or which one kind of intrigued you the most. Max Greck's work is really shapy, and I really love that. I know some people don't really love the whole shapy thing and stylization, but I really like it. Comment down below which one did you like, or which one do you think that you're gonna check out. If you guys know of any other artists that you think I should take a look at because you saw these artists and you're just like, well, dude, you would totally like this artist. I found this artist last week. Or when I started drawing, this is the artist I found, right? Link them down below. Maybe we can feature them in another episode. And as always, guys, don't forget to stay mystical.